just so you can go back and have another listen.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
she's got her tools.
Yeah, in multiple areas. She's not thinking one thing's going to be the answer to fix everything. So, she's got Breathless, she's got a nutritionist, she's got me, she's got her kids in therapy because she's been through massive DV. And, last week our mentoring session fed perfectly into the session she'd had with the kids psychologist the day before.
Yeah.
Around supporting her boys, So, and another convo she'd had around her daughter. Because
so she's happy to invest.
Definitely happy to invest, and definitely recognizes needing multiple pieces to complete that wellness puzzle.
Yeah. So like a multidisciplinary.
Yeah. Approach instead of that, like you were saying, those people that think this has got to work.
Yeah.
This has got to be the solution. This has
It's
got to
like desperation, quite.
Yeah. She's like, I totally get that. I need multiple things to impact multiple layers of health.
So already we've got this picture, right, around your soulmate woman, and you could even create a post that speaks to this, right? You have a multidisciplinary approach to your health, well-being, and success.
Yeah.
Right? You've already got the business coach. You've probably already got the kinesiologist.
Yep.
Here's where I come in, right? As a genius activation or whatever it is that you decide to call yourself. Yep. Or even, do you know what that is now? Has that landed with more clarity?
Well, I wanted your feedback on what I shared this morning.
Yes. And I apologize. I listened to half of it and then I got distracted with another thing that came up. So let's cover that again.
What did I actually share? Let me listen to it. It was quick, but
talking about the difference between activation and embodiment.
Oh, so that's what dropped in for me yesterday too, around when I said to you the other day, I don't activate it in them because it's already there. Yeah. But what's dropped in today is I activate the reawakening of it.
Yeah.
So Friday, I felt like it'd be out of integrity to use the word activator or activation mentor or whatever. Because I don't feel like I'm activating it. But then actually what I do activate is their awareness of their genius and then the embodiment.
So I activate the reawakening / awareness of your genius.
Yeah.
And support you with
the embodiment.
Embodying that in your life and business.
Yeah. So I think with that awareness,
that's powerful.
Genius activation mentor is it.
So you can see here, right, that even if it is your group program or your one-on-one, it's still the same.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Which is great. Just means that there's two different levels. Do you want to have my absolute devotion to you one-on-one in a private room, access to me Monday to Friday, my eyes on your energetics, my eyes on your business, my eyes on you.
Yeah.
Or, and you pay for that. Yeah. Or do you want to come in at a group container? You have the support of the other women, but it's not as much attention, right?
Yeah.
But you can still kind of create. So this is good. So this means like your content plan can be the same for both.
Yeah.
But you can just differentiate, right? You can educate your audience about the differences in the way you work, whether it's a one-on-one or a group.
Mm-hmm.
And that, the one-on-one is going to be for a higher level woman, a woman who's probably making more money in her business and who, she's in motion already, but what's the stickler, right? She's in motion, she's making money, she's self-sacrificing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so as a result, things are out of alignment, probably in her genius, but also in her inner polarity, in her relationships, in her magnetism, right? She's hustling, that kind of thing, right? So you can still, when it comes to your content plan, which let me pull it up. Okay, I'm going to just share screen. Okay, processing shame. Okay, so you've done that, haven't you?
Well, yeah, actually, probably today's post is.
Did you talk about the importance of this to embodying your genius?
I spoke into the fact that through moving through that is how I reawakened my genius.
Yeah.
But I think I could do another post.
Part two. Part two.
Yeah.
You could even edit it, part one, right? Part two. Because we've got what, 5 weeks until your 6 weeks until the program kicks off. Yep. So I really want you to focus on this educational period, right? So you don't need to have a call to action in every post. And in fact, I reckon you're going to find that you will still have people reaching out. Even when
today's was just PM me if you want to, put down the shame and pick up your purpose.
Totally.
I've already had multiple messages of people just either.
That tells me so much. Now, the next thing you need to know is the people that are resonating with that, are they a good fit? Are they a soulmate client? Are they a high quality lead?
Yeah.
Are they? Do you know?
I don't know. So one of them has actually been in the last round of the Crystalline program with Jules.
Yeah.
And everybody else that was in that Crystalline program, there was 4 of them. 2 of them plus Jules had a genius activation session already.
Okay.
So they were talking about that. And I know this woman was then like peaked and Jules was like, she'll probably reach out.
Sure.
But she obviously hasn't yet. And it's been 2 or 3 weeks. I think.
Okay. So that post moved her to move.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So I don't know exactly where she's at in terms of, being a soulmate client, but she's clearly.
She's invested already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she spoke into that in our messages so far. She's like, I've done some work with Jules. I'm on this path, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So she's
you can pre-qualify now. Okay. Is it going to be a better option for her to go down the group path or the one-on-one?
Yeah.
So in your pre-qualification questions, you can be pre-framing that.
So that's where the convo's at now. Yeah.
Right.
So I messaged her just before I jumped on this call.
Awesome. Okay. So I want you to be thinking about that when people start to reach out.
Yep.
And like we want to be really analyzing, okay, yes, it's getting a lot of attention. Yes, it's getting a lot of engagement. Yes, some of that engagement is leading to people directly contacting me, which is that's fantastic. The next level up from that is, are they are they a true soulmate client, or are they, don't want to pay the money, don't, the difference, right?
Yep.
Are they in action in their business? Are they happy being in motion? Are they in a position of leadership, whether that's self-leadership or external leadership?
That's another thing for the woman that you're writing stuff down for.
Yeah.
She's actually in a position of leadership in her role at her job.
Yeah.
And she's wanting to be the leader of her life.
Yeah.
She's aware of the gaps, or I'm helping her become more aware of those gaps where she's not leading right now.
I know you speak a lot about personal responsibility, but I think I've been thinking and writing quite a bit about self-leadership as well. I would think it'd be great to hear your take on it.
Yeah.
I believe personal responsibility and self-leadership go hand in hand, right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for you in your world?
So for me, in my world, self-leadership for me is really that dynamic of equal parts grace and ruthlessness.
Grace and ruthlessness.
Which again is what I spoke about in that post this morning. That's in there. So self-leadership is being able to be comfortable in either of those places, being really, in grace and really honest with yourself, and nourishing, right, in your interactions, whether they're being with yourself or others, but then also being ruthless when needed, calling yourself out, putting yourself on the table to be reflective and really go deep and go there.
Beautiful. Okay, great. So that's going to be a good post, I think, for calling in this woman, right? So you think about it, one of my mentors, she uses the analogy, you want to attract balls, not bricks. It's a really good analogy, right? A brick is stuck.
They're ready to roll. Yeah.
They don't move. They are solid.
Yep.
they're cemented, whereas a ball is in act. You give it a little flick and it rolls. It moves. It creates inertia and momentum.
Yep.
Right. So being mindful in your content that you're not just speaking to the problem, the stagnation, the issue, which I know that you're not. And I know we've spoken a lot about this, that you are speaking to that woman who is already in action. She has tried different things. Maybe they haven't worked for these reasons.
Yep.
Right. But you speak to her as if you are a leader. You are learning the difference between, the marriage of grace and ruthlessness.
Yeah.
You are willing to invest, and you know that the more you invest, the more like the higher level results you get, because you're stretched to take action and push yourself, right?
Yep.
And you can even start to be calling in, like, I'm in the process at the moment of writing a post that's about like the women in, like, and I've done a few of these posts, like the women in my world, or my clients.
Yeah.
My clients are paid, like they pay in full.
Yeah.
And like, even though they might not all pay in full now, it's like, I don't know. Did you watch that video that, do you watch much of Jillian's videos?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay, right. So
I think I've only watched one.
There was one that she was talking about. She had a feng shui person come when she was in her 20s and feng shui her house, to help her to call in her partner, right? And the feng shui, she was living in New York in this tiny apartment, and the woman was like, okay, in your medicine cabinet in your bathroom, you need to clear half of the stuff in there to make space for this man. Yes. And she's talking about like half, oh my God, like space is such a premium. She's like half. And then to the cupboard, okay, in your cupboard, you need to clear half of the cupboard to make space for your man. So it's like, it got me thinking, it's very similar to what we're doing when we're calling in an upgraded version of our client. We're creating space. And we speak to our people as if these people are already in our field, because they are. They're just not resonating with your stuff yet because it hasn't spoken to them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is where like getting really clear. So if someone is like, if you want to call in clients that pay in full, you need to speak to that in your content.
Yeah.
Right? Like my clients pay in full. Why? Because they know the more they invest, and if they pay in full, they have more skin in the game. And it means that they're going to put in more energy and more effort to get the results that they deeply desire. And because they are leaders in their life, and they understand the importance of investing in mentorship and investing in premium mentorship, of which I am.
Yeah. I need to do a post about this because both of my one-on-ones pay in full. So the one that's been there for a year, she's the one that was just like, can you just renew it every 6 months? Just send me the invoice, I'll pay it.
There you go.
Like,
so you can speak to her, like speak about her without like giving names and qualifying features and all of that.
Yeah.
But like, you could create a post about this and use her as an example, because she values my mentorship so much.
Yeah.
I'm on it's like I'm on an $8,500 biannual retainer.
Yep.
With her, right? So this is is this transmitting? I feel like it is, but landing.
There's one more point I need to put on there, that document. If you can just put on there, I want to do a post around like using your voice, which I know lots of people are speaking about, but yesterday that's what came through for me in terms of who am I not to speak about my life. It's like I've found my voice in this last 2 years, right? And it's evolved and it's becoming more clarified and powerful and potent and direct. But the one thing I notice with clients that work with me is that they come in and they are, and this feeds into self-leadership, I think, as well. But when they come in and they're in this state of, overwhelm or, whatever's happening, challenge in whatever areas, they don't find their voice. And then when we work together, they find their voice.
Yeah, beautiful.
But they don't have their voice, and then they find their voice. And then by actually speaking up for themselves is when they really start to recognize the shifts.
Yeah,
But it's
okay.
also that they're now learning to speak up. And I didn't even realize, but this stuff about feminine essence and all of that, this client that I've had for 12 months, like I've literally been speaking to her about that. We've been doing that for the whole year, and I didn't know about it in these terms that, you know, Jillian and polarity and all of that speak about back then. But that's been the huge shift. Same as this Claire, the new one-on-one. It's like those shifts for them, the huge, when they have these huge leaps, it comes when they actually use their voice in whatever area of their life that they're needing to. And I know it's the same for me. I know it's the same. But they're learning to communicate from their feminine essence.
Yeah.
So they're not just speaking up for themselves, they're actually learning to communicate in a new way than how they've communicated before. Because previously they communicated from a place of victim. And if you're going to be in a place of self-leadership, you don't speak from victim. You know, if you're the leader of your life, there's no victim there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. That's really beautiful, really powerful. And also, like, the voices, you know, we manifest with our words as well. So when they actually start speaking in different ways, it has a tangible impact on the world around them.
Yep.
Like ripple effects come out with the vibration of our words.
Yep. And that's
Beautiful.
the other post up there, language as a manifestation and embodiment tool.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That's a huge piece of what I do with people.
Well, I might put this underneath it because it is related, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So my experience when channeling someone's genius, the importance of integration support post genius activation blueprint session, labels and how they're used, how they are impacted once you claim your genius. I think we need, what is genius?
Yep.
How to tell when you're operating out of genius. Like, give them some basic foundational, you know, because what you need to do here, you know, have you heard that theory? It's like red ocean and blue ocean.
Oh, you spoke to Jules about that, or both of us, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
It was around being like having a niche, but then being like one, like you're creating
the whole, like what Apple did with the iPod.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing like it ever before.
Yeah.
Created their own little corner of the marketplace. I mean, people talk about genius, but definitely not a huge amount of people are talking about genius. And so you've got the pro in that, you know, the pro being you are like Apple at the beginning of, you know, the 90s.
Yes.
However, you've got to educate the fuck out of your audience about it. Otherwise, they're going to be there going, why do I want an iPad? I've got a Discman. Yes. An iPod, right? I have a Discman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want you to think about it from the basic level of understanding as well.
Yeah.
So what are the things that you just think everyone knows about genius, but they don't, right? Because this is your genius. It comes naturally to you. Doesn't mean it's going to come, the understanding of it's going to come naturally to everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want me speaking to that now?
Well, I don't think you need to speak into it now, but just to understand, because like you haven't yet launched the awakening, right? But you have been speaking about genius activation sessions, and I think you could definitely do some more like case study sessions.
Yeah. And in my session tomorrow,
case study post rather. Yep.
I'm actually going to speaking to how I channel genius.
Yes, perfect.
So because I'm speaking about authenticity, I'm going to speak into the fact that for me, in supporting people to live authentically, one of the things I do and am capable of doing, and part of who I am, is actually channeling people's genius.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to give them that piece of my experience when channeling someone's genius, and I'm actually going to do that. I don't know how you feel about this. It live.
Oh, you're going to channel live?
No, I'm going to speak about exactly the process I go through. Like when I think it was you asked me a couple of weeks ago, like what actually happens for me? What do I do?
Yeah.
I'm going to speak into that and then actually share like Claire's genius that I did a couple of weeks ago, and how she literally on the Saturday had drawn up a map And then when I read her genius to her on the Thursday, she's like, holy shit. Like,
yeah, right.
Totally on
Yeah,
point.
that's a brilliant case study.
Yeah.
Even just like, I think, I know you shared with me someone else's, and it just gave them the tangible, like they're like, yeah, that's what I do, right?
I think it was Jules's one.
Yeah, maybe it
when
was
we read
Jules.
Jules'
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, the other thing that you could do, I don't know if this would be how you feel about it, but you could do like a one-off event inside your Facebook group where it would push you, but you could like do some quick, like 2-minute, like get people to register, like say, I'm looking for 5 people.
Yeah.
And you could do like, just as a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Pardon?
Like a showcase.
Like a showcase. Yeah, like a showcase where you might give them the first little bit.
Yeah.
Just the entree, the taster, right? And then lead into promoting the awakening.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome, actually. And in that, you could talk. So it wouldn't just be for like, you wouldn't just, I mean, you could even create a set, like a pop-up Facebook group if you don't want to do it in your Facebook group, like if you wanted some fresh energy. This is what Tori's been doing quite a lot. Like there's no landing page. It's just, here's the link to the Facebook group. Click apply. You will get accepted the morning of the session, right? So you could do like a 1-hour training, or even like, depending on how far you want to go, right? A 3-day thing if you wanted and had the time and it felt like fun for you. Or even just like a one day event, like a 1-hour event where you go into like the top level, the high level overview of genius. You know, you could talk about, you could pick some of these, and just do like the top level, and then maybe like you organize with them, like maybe 5 people to, you know, to actually give them a little bit of their genius, but people see you doing it, right?
Yeah.
You might have already tapped in prior, but do a bit of a showcase and then transition into the market, into the invitation.
And I just had a thought too. It feels good. I don't know whether I want to do it for this round though, or maybe that's something I do in the next round.
Sure.
I don't know. I'll have to sit with it. But I also had a thought of I could interview, like for instance, Claire, read out her genius and then get her response and be like,
yeah,
when we had this session, like, how did that transmit for you?
That's a brilliant
idea. What were you thinking?
Yeah. Brilliant
and actually
idea.
have her on the call to, you know, discuss it.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. Just live stream from Zoom onto your personal profile.
Yeah.
Brilliant. You want to make sure you have, like, you know, you might do a couple of posts, weave it into this educational content, and do a post where you actually say, I'm going live with my client Claire to talk about her experience having her genius channeled. I will read her genius that came through and we'll explore how it was for her. It's at this time, live on my page, right? Like, you're letting people know. Maybe if you have, say, if this is like a 4-week long content plan, you know, you might do it like around week 3, once you've already done a series of posts to educate your audience. So they're going, oh my God, I'm loving this new material from Steph. Love to hear. You could get Jules in there as well if you wanted to do like one on one week and one on another.
And and there's another client too who hers was
brilliant.
Like, so I might
it's an opportunity to showcase them as well, right? Tag them on the business page, share their website.
Only because with the channeling, like at the beginning, sometimes it can be slow and the first few things that come through aren't always straight to the genius.
Sure.
So that's the only thing that came through, is like sometimes the first few things that come through are actually stuff about the client and what they need to work on personally for themselves first. And then like the genius will come in randomly at some point.
So if you were to do a showcase, that's why I would organize it beforehand. Say, I'm looking for 5 volunteers who would like to have me channel, like you're not channeling all of their genius. That's why I would say give them an entree.
Yeah.
But the whole thing would be like people are watching you in action, you know, so you might already have the information prepared, but then, you know, like you're channeling your inner magician or your inner, you know, like you're performing in a sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that sounds fun for you.
Yeah, I really think that's amazing. And I think people would like lose their shit.
Yeah, they would, provided you're in the right energy when you're doing it, provided you're really in your feminine magnetism.
And that's the only thing that I thought too is maybe not while I'm doing the crystalline program. That's
the
other reason I said maybe the next one.
Yeah. But I mean, that finishes in a few weeks anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I'm about to channel a genius today.
Okay.
So I'll see how that goes. Like that'll be the first one since.
Jules did the last dissolution last night.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that. Fuck, man, it's been such an intense week. My God.
Poor buggers.
Intense. Anyway, I have to check in. I haven't noticed any messages come through. Have you?
No, there's been nothing. I was actually just before this call, I thought, I want to get in there and ask her what happened.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 4, 8, so 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, between 3 to 4 posts a week, right?
Yeah. Because I'm sure more stuff will come in too.
More stuff will come through. So you've got 6 weeks.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be aiming for. And some of them might be videos, lives.
Yeah.
You don't have to do all written. If it's going to be easier for you to get on and talk, then, you know, alternate it between written, spoken, right? And you want to start to seed at somewhere along the journey here. Something exciting is coming. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is for you if you desire to bullet point, but don't give it away, right? Okay. So we're really working with what they call these like psychological switches. They call them the psychological switches.
So should I do this tomorrow though? If by tomorrow night I'm going to speak about the awakening in the Unapologetic Summit?
Well, you can speak about it in the Unapologetic Summit. I just don't think, I personally, look, you can speak about it in the Unapologetic Summit. Not everyone who's on your personal page is going to be in there.
Yeah.
And you might even do like a special offer. It might not necessarily be a price reduction, but it might be that they get a bonus pre-call with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? For the people that join up, like a group call. Or you know, like you put them in a Voxer thread and you do something with them over a 7-day period or a 3-day period, right? There's other ways that you can come up with, but so these different switches, psychological switches, right? So one of them is curiosity. Yeah. You don't want to give it all away on the front end.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is I can't remember exactly what they call it, but it's essentially like, why now? Why do you want to move on this now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why this? Why now? Why now? Because you're going to get this as a special bonus for being with me live, right? Mm-hmm. So that's something that you could think about it. But I
could use that for the if I talk to Claire live.
Yeah.
On that live, it could be like, there could be another thing, like if you join live now, like if you join now, within 24 hours of this live, then they could be added to that Voxer thread as well.
Yeah, totally.
Voxer for 7 days, I could do like some activation processes, like if
totally, you could get them so prepared for the awakening, right?
Yeah,
totally, you could.
Yeah.
So like it's good to think like the incentives to move, right? So, obviously fear of missing out is a big one, right? So I've only got 10 spots. Once they're gone, they're gone. 3 of them are already taken. I've only got 7 spots left.
Yeah.
Like you can get added into this exclusive Voxer room where I'm going to be giving you activations for 7 days or for 5 days to support you to insert tangible, powerful outcome here.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be sharing, so like if you decide to share it, it's like, you could go into like pre-sale for the awakening.
Mm-hmm.
You could speak about it in there and you could say, you guys are lucky because I'm actually not launching this to my public facing community for another 3 weeks.
Yep.
So theoretically, like you could even sell this out without making one public Facebook post. And
100%.
then you go make the public Facebook post. Oh my God, I've been doing a soft launch for this amazing new program and it's sold out. Who wants to put their name on the wait list for the second one starting in 2 months?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily be publicly talking about the awakening. Like you want to strategically plan it.
It so feels like that's just what's going to happen, babe.
Yeah.
That's what I mean when I say
too.
about people just coming to me.
Yeah, 100%.
Like everything shifted. Even the one that's already
100%.
signed up for VIP.
Yeah.
She's come through Jules's program and her kids have been seeing Jules for a while, but she's done the crystalline program as well and just like messaged me.
Yeah.
Just messaged 2 weeks ago out of the blue. Don't know the woman,
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we're just like, I've got so much time for her. She's fucking brilliant.
I think I said this to Adele today. It was like, you're wiring into your energetics. I signed soulmate client, like, I can't remember exactly what it was. I signed soulmate clients with joy and with ease by my magnetism. It was something along those lines. You'll have to go and have a look. But like, that's 100%. What I want you to hook. Like, that's what I want you to anchor into. Yeah. It's like, I show up and speak powerfully and from a space of alignment and people fucking listen.
Yeah.
Right. People listen and they take action. So how are you training your audience? Right. This is a big thing a big understanding that I've had. Yeah. So if you're doing like consistent 3-day, 5-day challenges, which is what I've done a lot of in the past, I'm training my audience that they need to sit through 5 hours of content before I'm going to get to a pitch.
Yeah.
Even though I might be seeding along the way, right?
Yeah.
When I started to shift into, well, maybe I don't want to do all of that just to get sales. Maybe I just want people to sign up on the daily basis to my offerings based upon my daily sales process that has nothing to do with joining me in some free content. Or maybe I want to charge for that now, maybe I want to do small off like low ticket offerings that I would have in the past done for free. Right. So it's like everything that you do in your business is facilitating the training of your community.
Yes.
If you expect them to jump through a fuck ton of hoops for them to actually get to the opportunity to be pitched by you, well, then that's just adding additional time, right? And additional stress. So if you want people just to be reading something like intuitive women who make decisive decisions because they listen to their intuition, they don't need to know all the details. They don't need a fucking sales page that goes for 1,000 scrolls, right? They don't need to have a sales call.
Yeah.
Then that's the person that you speak to in your content.
Yeah.
That woman.
Yeah.
You don't need to know all the answers because you honor your intuition. You're guided by your intuition.
And I feel like the women that want to claim that, they see that as a real, like it sort of puts them on a pedestal. Like I'm guided by my intuition.
Yeah.
These women that are sort of claiming that.
Yeah.
They really celebrate it.
Yeah.
So I think speaking to that is really powerful.
Speaking to that, totally.
When I read your post the other day when you spoke to that, I was like, it's so powerful because people want to be able to claim, I did that based on my intuition.
Yeah.
People
totally
are like seeing it as like the new cool thing to do.
Yeah. So you're no longer teaching how to connect to your intuition.
No.
Because you've got women that are fully connected to your intuition. How do you then take that skill and up level it 1,000 times?
So interesting. I literally got like tagged in something from, some new person the other day, offered a group or whatever it was, invited to a group, and it was about like tuning into your intuition. I was like, oh fuck, I'm out. Like, not even interested.
Yeah.
Not
A bit
even
like the chakra, you know, that whole the chakra
chakras.
conversation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Not even interested. And I just thought too, I've actually been thinking about my private group, and I'm like, I'm never in there. I feel like I don't like do anything there. And I'm like, is there any point in even having it? But I was actually just thinking too, like that could be where I do launch the awakening. Like if I actually am consistent in the next few weeks about speaking in that space and sharing.
To be honest with you, babe, I think you're going to have more reach on your personal profile.
Same.
Yeah.
But I was like, do I launch it there with like a special, you know, like with the Voxer group attached or whatever? Is that something to go and say, you know, like as a bonus for you guys being part of this community?
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
And then part of me is like, I just feel like I could literally delete that group and not be worse off.
Do you know, I've been in exactly the same position. I have this you might have seen it.
Oh wow, that's gorgeous.
No, yeah, I did it I did it last night. And so yeah, I love it too. It's one of my new shots. And so I'm thinking, like, do I change the name of my Facebook group or do I simply delete it and start a new one?
That's me too, because even the Dark Empress doesn't resonate anymore.
Yeah. I'm not sure personally what I would do there. But I'm not excited to show up in there purely because I just don't get the engagement, you know, and I think that's the algorithm as well. Facebook groups, unless there's a lot of energy gone into actually cultivating people consistently posting into the group, you know, then they kind of get prioritized less.
Yeah.
So yeah, something to think about there. But I think it's a good idea to, before tomorrow, you want to like practice your invitation and get really clear on like, if this is up for pre-sale, what's the inclusion? What's the special offer? And then you can use that same inclusion into your Facebook group as well. So it's just one thing, whether it's through your personal Facebook or the summit, that if they join, they go into whether it is like a 7-day Voxer room where you, you know, support them to, what would you be wanting to do with them in there?
Well, what came through is dropping in there some activations. So I would do a couple of guided, you know, visualizations, activations, releasings to support them to tap into things like their shame blocks, their shame block, their self-worth block, to start to clear that stuff out, so that by the time the awakening launches and they're in the group, they're already propelling into this space of going, this is my genius and I'm capable of it.
It's going to be easier for them and for you.
And maybe to something in there around, you know, like a process in there to really connect them to their spirit team for guidance throughout the process, you know, so that they're feeling really, really tuned in and activated. Instead of entering that space with all of these blocks coming up, you know, which we talk about anyway, but then it just means you get to go to a deeper level of that.
Deeper level, 100%. So
like,
what's a 7-day Voxer room worth for you, with you?
Well, I'm feeling like those activations are only going to be 10, 15 minutes. And then obviously they can share in the Voxer.
Yeah, but don't think about it from the time perspective. Like
the value.
Hey?
As in think about it from the value that it's going to give them.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's like $1,000.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
It's expensive.
There you go. What a brilliant pre-sale offer. I didn't even like the word pre-sale, but summit offer, special summit offer, or whatever you might like to call it, right? But actually call it something.
Yeah.
And that's also a good, like, you could give a deadline, right? Say 48 hours only. And then at, 24 hours, you can do a post into the summit group reminding them.
Yeah.
Or not reminding them, but like, pitching it again, inviting, like extending that pitch again. Yeah.
Yeah. So just reiterating the invite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels good. And because too, even with that, like sharing the awakening tomorrow, it was only going to be like a really soft sort of launch of it. I wasn't going to go on a big spiel about it.
Yeah.
It was just going to be like, if you've resonated tonight with what I've spoken into and you're wanting to look at, continuing receiving support from me, then this is something that I'm launching, starts at the beginning of May. This is what it's about.
I would even say, like, instead of if you're wanting support from me, it would be like, if you're wanting to insert when you have your genius, when you're embodying your genius, this is how shit's going to change, like if you're ready to take your legacy, what's the tagline again? It's your genius, birth your legacy, right? If you're ready to embrace your genius and birth your next level legacy, I have a very exciting, very quiet offer, right? Because I haven't even publicly launched this, and I'm not going to publicly launch it for another 4 weeks. Like, use it from that angle.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the first time I've ever done anything like this. Prior to this, you would have had to have done a one-on-one container with me to explore your genius. This is the first time I've ever offered this in a group setting. That kind of like bring a bit of exclusivity into it.
Yes.
That's the other switch. The exclusivity.
That is huge, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll send you some more information about the switches. They're really powerful. Exclusivity, which is like, what we just spoke about. Like, not everyone has this, because, people are definitely motivated by that,
Yes.
It's like, are you going to buy a jumper from Target just because you need something, or are you going to buy a beautiful Saba jumper because you like the way it makes you feel, right? Curie, oh my God, I always get this word wrong when I spell it. Okay, cool. Right, so seeding, seeding. I'm not going to give it all away. I'm going to tease my audience with it. Teasing it. And then I can't remember the other one, but it's like, why buy this now? Right? Why should you not sit on this for forever? That's like, okay, if you buy in the next 48 hours, it's $7,500. Yeah. So bringing that into your invitation is going to be really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel, darling?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, I feel really good tomorrow. I'm not sort of going into it with too much. And I actually did say to Jules, I think it was Saturday, something was said. And I said, or it might have been yesterday. And I was like, what I've actually decided I'm going to do for the summit is just not plan too much. Like, obviously, I know the topic I'm going to speak on, and I know that there's going to be the awakening mentioned at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm going to speak into my genius sessions and explain how they happen.
Mm-hmm.
And give, clients sort of overview of their experience.
Mm-hmm.
But what actually comes out, I really want it to just be a transmission.
Yeah.
So when I turn up to the call, it's going to be, I'm so excited that you're here to just have a chat, like grab a cup of coffee or a wine, whatever you want to do. And then I'm going to actually take a breath and pause and be like, so I'm just going to feel into now what actually needs to be shared for the collective here tonight.
Beautiful.
What do we all need to hear?
Beautiful.
Instead of having them feel like I'm speaking at them.
Yeah.
Because I know I've done that so much in my content in the past.
Yeah, sure.
And I want them to really get this sense of, when you work with me, this is how it feels. It just feels intuitive.
Yeah.
It just feels safe.
And seed that into your transmission, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't believe in cookie cutter template approaches. You
Yes.
know, like when you work with your clients, it's full intuitive response. I am there with you 100% of the time, responding to what you need.
Yeah.
And holding the vision, holding the higher level vision, and you know, supporting you to ascend into it.
Yeah.
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 Like weave that in to the transmission as well.
And I could probably, do you think I could just say that at the beginning as well? Before I take the breath, I'll just say, look, I'm just going to take a breath and tune in, because when I work with clients, this is what I do. You know, I just come to the space and take my time to intuitively transmit what my client needs to hear. So I just want to tune into the collective here now and see what needs to be felt in this space tonight.
Beautiful.
Would that be the best way to do that? Because further down,
for sure. Definitely make sure you introduce yourself, right?
Yes.
And you know, like talk about, like, you know, what you said, I activate the reawakening of my clients. So, you know, my name is Stephanie Lavelle. I work with what kind of clients, and I specialize in activating the reawakening of their genius and supporting them with the embodiment of that genius in their life and business. Now, you might need to talk a little bit about genius.
Yes.
Obviously, you know, to pre-frame it, because they'll be there going, what, you know? So definitely promote your talk. I don't know if you've done that yet. Have you done some posts?
I'm going to do that tonight. So
do
today.
some posts. You might even want to go live into the Facebook group if you want, and you want to get as many people there live with you. And the other thing that you can say, you know, it depends on how you feel, but you might like to say, if you stay with me, I'm going to be sharing with you something really exciting that I, you know, like do the curiosity seeding then.
So do you think at the beginning, when I introduced myself and how you said people might be going, what the fuck is genius? So I might need to just sort of speak into that. And that's cool. Like, you know, genius for me is what you were birthed to actually bring forward into the world in this lifetime. And then after I share that, I could be saying something along the lines of, you know, I'm going to share a transmission with you guys shortly, but then after that, I'm actually going to share the experience of having like your genius channeled by me.
Yeah, beautiful.
So if you stick to the end of the call, then I'll go into detail about what it actually looks like to actually have your genius channeled.
I love that.
Have that experience.
I love it.
Because then straight from there, then I can speak straight into the awakening.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. I think that's really powerful.
Okay. Without them, okay.
Yay.
And I suppose I could say that, like, and then I'll also be sharing a really special offer for everybody that's here tonight regarding something that I've got coming up shortly.
Yep.
So then they don't feel blindsided by it.
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
The only other question I wanted to ask you, babe, is in terms of my solo book.
Yes.
What's your deadline for that?
Let me just think. Okay, so when did we kick this off? Do you remember when we officially started, when you made your first down payment?
I think it was like May.
It was May.
I think it was a week before everything happened. And
look, babe, I know it's good to have a deadline, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm looking at the calendar being like, okay, that date. So let's figure that out together.
Okay. And how many pages is that sort of, doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I've got one solo author at the moment who his manuscript is 140,000 words.
Holy.
Right?
Oh, how many pages is that? 140,000 words. Jesus.
A lot. It's actually, I've underquoted him because the editing on that is huge. Yeah, he's got a good deal.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Is it a good read?
It is. It's quite dense.
Okay.
He's channeled. It's fully channeled.
Wow.
Fully channeled manuscript. I've got the manuscript, and I know that it's going to be a big job for the editor, because it'll be like, you know how some spiritual texts are, they're dense.
Yeah.
I
don't read his stuff. It's too dense.
Yes.
Like I don't resonate with that denseness.
Yeah. So it's quite dense. but it's good. Like I know
It'll be
I can
amazing.
definitely tell that the content is amazing, but it just needs some work to enliven it a bit.
Yeah. Is
You
he
know?
local?
No, he's in Brisbane.
Yeah, wow.
He'll actually, I'm bringing him into the Warriors of Light project as well. His name is Craig. You'll meet him in there.
Nice.
He's really awesome. Yeah, he was a Navy. He was in the Navy, and then like was medically discharged, and his life just took off on a totally different tangent. So
Cool.
yeah.
And when does Warriors of Light start? Was that, I thought that was starting this month.
Starts in the very first week of April. So we've got 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to be sending out an email with the community guide. I need to decide on the day for our fortnightly call. I'm going to do like a consistent fortnightly call for that one.
Did you get my message about that first email?
No.
I sent a message. I think it might have been a voice drop. I think.
Oh.
I can't remember if it was in Voxer or just in Messenger. It might have been just in Messenger because it wasn't related to like me.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but just in there was a couple of things, like the last paragraph talks about unapologetic instead of Warriors of Light.
Thanks.
And then there was a couple of spelling mistakes,
really?
And I think a date wrong or something. And
geez. Okay. I got Jen to do that. So I'll have to go back in and I'm going to pull that up now. I said, please clone the email, but change it to Warriors of Light. So thank you for that.
There's a couple of things. And I was like, if you're welcoming more people in, they're going to be confused, whereas I wasn't confused.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know. I have to tell her. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I'll be sending out another email about with the community guide. We're looking at an August 5th launch, which is Leo. Yeah. And mid to late May for chapters. So it's a couple of months.
That's cool. Yeah. I don't know. Today I'm feeling like I'm coming back into myself, and it's just time to get the structure of the year plan so that then I can just be active.
Does that feel good though, in terms of like your one-on-ones, the awakening? I mean, obviously there's room there's room to weave other things throughout it, but I feel like that's a really good solid foundation.
I think it's perfect. And I think it's just about me being able to balance that, that space when it's like, okay, I'm in something I need to process here. Doesn't mean I totally check out.
Yeah.
From productivity.
Yeah.
Which is, and I don't know whether what's happened in the last couple of weeks is residual like coping mechanism from when everything happened last year. I literally did sort of need to check out quite a bit,
Yeah.
So I was like, I showed up. Yeah. And it was like, I could show up for my one-on-ones and hold that space.
Yeah.
I certainly wasn't going to be launching a group or, you know what I mean? Like I had to just
totally
step back and be really selective.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, you're not in that Steph anymore.
Yeah.
Life doesn't get to that degree ever. So, learning to actually still be productive and not think just because I'm not inspired to write content doesn't mean I can't be doing something.
Totally. And productive is also can also look like going and calling in some orgasmic abundance as well. Exactly. Right? It doesn't have to look like this.
Yeah. And even for me, it's been around like the last few weeks, I've been really mindful of being proactive and present with my one-on-ones and making sure I check in with them regularly throughout the week, like right in the morning on a Monday.
Yeah.
In the morning on a Friday to end their week well, like being consistent for
holding that container for them.
Yeah. Because I've that's and I suppose that's the one thing I have kept even with everything else that's gone on in the last couple of weeks. But it's like that's important because otherwise who wants a mentor that's like, I'm going to give you $8,500 yet they're not being being proactive in reaching out to me.
Totally.
I don't want them to be the one that's always got to be like, oh, I've got to seek her.
Yeah.
I want to be there for them.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And you I have no doubt that you are,
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so go like really feel into that, what we spoke about like the women that are coming into your field
Yeah. I
Remember
feel
to
really
speak
good.
to them and speak to that higher level leader, the
Yes.
woman who's in motion, who's like
Ready to roll.
in the state of empowerment,
Yeah.
and get clear on the genius piece.
Yep.
How is that the 10%, right?
Yes.
Or the
Yeah.
lack of that, the 10%. All right. Beautiful.
Thanks, darling.
All righty.
Bravo.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.